Yeah, superstar halfback and captain there, Ali Brigginshaw. Let's have a look at how the two-time premiership Broncos line up. Upton, who she just spoke about there, Tamika Upton, has come into that fullback position. What a young star she is. Brown, Robinson, Frassard and Ward, Ward has been a household name now for a couple of seasons. She's on the wing again, but there's the grand final halves pairing. Brigginshaw and McGregor, they are the halves this afternoon. A really powerful forward line here. Hannah Boyle, Gould, Lenarduzzi up front. Hall was terrific in last year's grand final. Aiken locks the scrum. And the bench is what I like for Kelvin Wright. Brander and Harden, two quality players coming off the interchange bench this afternoon. An extremely strong side for their 2020 campaign.
Millie Boyle was in devastating form last season for the Broncos. Her role this season needs to go to another level. What do you expect?
Yeah, dual international. She's a super player. I mean, she's big and she's athletic. She's aggressive, and that's what you love when you watch Millie Boyle play. She is willing to take on the opponents. She loves the personal battle. She loves a head-on challenge through the middle. And I expect her and Lenarduzzi to do a real job through the middle today. They'll have to do that. If they want to evolve and they want to stamp their authority again on this competition, it rests solely on the shoulders of the two forwards this afternoon, but none bigger than Millie Boyle. In my opinion, she is the best forward in the game at the moment, and an opportunity today to again stamp her authority.
Well, their opposition, Brad Donald, is the new coach of the New Zealand Warriors. How has he lined up the side?
Yeah, really exciting side this. It's been a funny old year, and the New Zealand Warriors have attracted some really big names. Let's have a look here. Karina Brown, the Jillaroo and Queensland representative. She is at fullback, the 31-year-old, saying just how passionate and excited she is to pull on the Warriors jersey this afternoon. Hardigan, you'll see, she comes in for Stowers in that number 3 jersey. She will play there, but this is the exciting one, Hannah. Pelletier and Green, the centre and wing combination. Rugby sevens combination, and we've just seen some of those in the previous game who are absolutely outstanding. Dibb and Smith, the former Roosters, they are the halves pairing. Kira Dibb, what a pick-up that's been for them. Tamarua Hall up front. Bartlett Gray and Hale to captain the side. Hale, what a terrific leader she's developed into. And you can see there in the number 14 jersey, Shania Power coming in. Brad Donald, the Australian Jillaroo's coach. He coaches them for the first time this afternoon, so exciting.
Game 2 of the new NRLW season about to get underway. The players out there as the Broncos and Warriors go head-to-head. Brisbane, the two-time defending champs, winners in 18 and 19, and ready to get things underway through the debutante, Lauren Brown. Away we go. The Warriors, the only team to beat the Broncos in the history of NRLW. Tasha Gale, can they do it again?
They're looking for a three-peat. I'll let you know at the end of this game. How about that, Brenton?
And the Warriors really have been put together in double quick time by the Jillaroos coach, Brad Donald. 5 players, the Fab Five, have come over from New Zealand, quarantined on an island in the Hawkesbury. And players have come from New South Wales bases, Queensland bases, and ready to represent the Warriors here in season 3 of this competition. Georgia Hale, very much the leader.
And I reckon they would have watched the last game too when the Saints played against the Roosters. The Roosters kept it pretty simple, just straight down the middle. They've got a big pack here, the Warriors. I reckon they'll keep it pretty simple.
I think the last 2 seasons we've seen the battle between these two teams has been straight up the middle, and I don't think it's going to be any different today.
That's what we've seen so far as Canyon Paul finds her kicker. Kira Dibb goes long down towards Tamika Upton, a good safe take, and many are predicting this lady, the number 1 for the Broncos, to be a star this year.
We just had Ali Brigginshaw speaking volumes about Tamika. She was the most valuable player in the Hossam Cup tournament this year.
Well, the thing is, you become the yardstick. 11 premiership players backing up for the Broncos. You become the hunted.
You do. We talk about the changes that the Warriors have, and they've got so many changes. The Broncos have the least. They've got 11 players out there.
Look at Upton go right through off the late offload, and backing up is Taryn Aiken, so the Broncos carving them up early on. The hooker, Lavinia Gould, back for another stint with the Broncos.
And Chelsea makes a hard run.
Lenarduzzi. Strong run indeed, held down by Tasman Gray for a long time. Now Brigginshaw, right side attack, and Amber Hall is looking imposing early on. That's another offload. And scooped up cleverly by Gould for Brigginshaw, who's got a great kicking game, but this time she bit off a bit too much, and there was a tackle left too.
Pretty interesting to see what sort of change in play that Brigginshaw was talking about they're using this year.
Didn't miss by much, really. Brigginshaw, the first kick, I'm sure she'll just put that away and try and keep going and try and make the next one a lot better than that one.
Might be the last kicking mistake we'll see from her in 2020. Few and far between.
Both captains have got themselves early and involved in this game.
Strong work over the top from Lenarduzzi. Out of dummy half goes Karina Brown. Very handy pickup for the Warriors to get someone of her experience to play in that custodian role, and she's earned an early penalty here off Millie Boyle.
Now, the referee just warned them just a second ago just to get off the tackled player. It was a half break there from dummy half. They give away the penalty, the kick for touch now. They go straight away on the attack, the Warriors. They've started the game well.
Keep coming.
How much do you think that would have changed if that had been the 6 again rule?
Well, they'd be on the back foot straight away, wouldn't they? It'd be just straight away play on. I've really enjoyed that rule that's came in this season. I'll tell you what, fatigue sets in once you start to get a couple of sets, 3 sets against you.
Keep coming.
And that was the theory, not bringing it into this competition. Such a limited build-up, and it may have been too much for the players, and injuries can come from that, of course. So penalties are going to be blown, as we saw in the earlier game, where the Roosters really had the edge in that category. Here's Dibb to Smith. And away they go right side. The late inclusion at right centre is Tegan Hartigan wearing the number 3. Shani Stowers was listed as the 3, but she's out with a hamstring, so a reshuffle. And right through the middle, a desperate tackle made by Millie Boyle, a try-saver. And under the post, trying to stroll over.
Amber Hall, is it?
Salvao was so close. And another penalty left too early, even though they were defending right on their try line. Henry Perinara has no hesitation, and they can accept to give 2 points if they want 5 minutes in.
There's some sort of tackle by Millie Boyle.
Yeah, powerful runner and very effective tackler.
Salvao, with that experience with the Wallaroos, switching codes, as many are doing in this year's NRLW, including these two on the left-hand side for the Warriors. Politi and Elia Green, and gets a little hand from Green to just stay in the field of play there, does Avania. Flip back to Canyon Paul at first receiver this time. Now Georgia Hale.
Millie, let go.
Warriors right on the front foot here after back-to-back penalties. Kira Dibb on to Smith through the dummy and wrapped up by Aiken, but a late offload, scooped up well by Tasman Gray, and Karina Brown took some stopping. Canyon Paul marshalling her troops, keeps it on the short side. Smith is over, and the Warriors come up with the first try 5 minutes in.
They were looking dangerous, the Warriors, with a few great runs right up under the post, and they swing it out wide, but nothing better to be able to hit that defender, spin and score.
Yeah, it was good balance there by Smith. On the back of a couple of penalties too, the Warriors have been able to march upfield and open the scoring. And low to the ground, spins out of the tackle. I was just going to mention how I thought the Broncos' defence had been pretty good. But that's good power. You've got the football down by the look of it here.
Simone Smith grounds the ball in the in goal. We have a decision.
I like the way she backed herself there. It'll come up a green light here. Try to the Warriors.
Simone Smith, it's not often you see a player that can take on that sort of contact and remain balanced enough to know spatial awareness, turn and score. Spin out of that tackle.
I like the way the show and go on the outside. Backed herself there to score the opening try. And that's all you can ask from the Warriors too. A good start from them. Back-to-back penalties. They get over the line. They didn't go for the conversion. They go for the try.
Just their second game of NRLW. You think back to 2017, heading into that World Cup, she was Australia's number 7. Then came the knee, Rico. Missed all that time, making up for lost time today. Conversion attempt from Kira Dibb is waved away, but what a start from the Warriors as they look to win twice against the Broncos.
They're the only team in the history of the NRLW to have beaten the Broncos, and that came for them last year. They're off to a great start already.
That was a 10-8 success. 10-0 at half-time it was in that game, and they held on just. Simone Smith, the 27-year-old, puts them on top here after those back-to-back penalties. They made the most of the field position.
Stay behind.
Smith, who they picked up from the Roosters. They got a few from the Roosters, including both halves.
I think they called them the Roosters Quartet that came over.
The other thing, the great thing about the Warriors, they're 4 from 4 to start with their completion rate, so they handle the ball pretty well. As we mentioned, on the back of a couple of penalties, they score the first points.
Salvato has been outstanding so far. Politi flirting with that touchline again.
How strong is she?
Backs her strength to stay in, doesn't she?
And she's fast. She's been clocked at well over 30 Ks.
The repeat efforts from Salvato,
Down the line now, Wade.
used to the ruck and maul kind of equation in rugby union, just keeps on going in rugby league here. And here's her front row partner, Tamarua, the Kiwi Fern, also played for the Cook Islands at the last World Cup. Simone Smith now adventurous on the right-hand side. Tasman Gray got the arm free, forced an offload, and tidied up by Canyon Paul. You see the complaint from Millie Ball. She thought she was held back in the chase for that loose footing. Kick down the short side. That was late contact on Simone Smith, and Brisbane, their discipline has been poor so far.
Well, that was what Lake just put her on notice too, that you're going to get some kick pressure here when you kick downfield. That was very late.
Millie Boyle certainly making her presence known.
I love that. Simone Smith just shook it off. Up she gets and away she goes again.
Tasman Gray playing against the team she won the premiership with 12 months ago.
Go. No markers. Come 10-1.
Paul finds Smith on to Dibb, and they look to strike. Elliot Green, welcome to the NRLW. The gold medalist in 2016 has a try 8.5 minutes into her NRL career.
Tell me that's not a rehearsed play. Brad Donald would have been working on that all week. What they've done, the last pass here, as the defence has come up and in, spotted that. This is thrown to space, knowing that Elliot Green will come in and collect that.
I'll tell you the best thing about it, I mentioned a little bit earlier, 5 from 5, 100% completion rate. Saw a lot of girls laying in and around the play the ball. No markers. The quick shift to the left-hand side. Once Elliot Green gets the football, I don't think there's that many people out there that could stop her. In stride, look at the power. Gets over the stripe, back-to-back tries now for the Warriors.
What about the combination between the two Golden girls? Karina Brown was there, the fullback chiming in, but Ivania Politi said, I can cut you out and find Elliot Green in stride.
Absolutely fabulous footy. They're magnificent athletes. And to be able to have that, to throw to space and know that the player's running onto it.
Just have a look how she holds the line too here. Gets back and runs onto the football. She wasn't too flat, Green there. What a start from the Warriors.
See Karina Brown just pointing to the try line, showing Elliot Green where to go. I think she knows how to find it, as we've seen throughout her Sevens career. And Dibb from the sideline, can't bend it back, but 8-0 the Warriors, 10 minutes into the ball game against the two-time defending champs.
And that try there by Elliot Green, blocker, I've got to cast your mind back to a Parramatta player of the same initials.
Not Eka the Wrecker.
It's Eric Brothmate, and that their initials, that's not all that these two share. Look at that power, strength, speed.
And that was certainly something you watch too. Just the way she positioned herself. It's all right to be fast and strong, but you've got to be able to time it. And that was perfect timing there to get over the stripe.
She's ready to go again.
They call her the Green Machine. Maybe they'll throw in the Guru now as well after this start. Short kickoff will work for the Broncos, so this might change the momentum. Just went the required journey in the end. It's watch this space when it's flirting with that 10-metre line, as we saw last night in the men's final when Brent Naden didn't know the law and collected the ball inside the 10 metres, gave away a penalty. That's why the Warriors defender there was in two minds.
That might get them going now, because they needed something to go their way. Got a little bit of a win there from the kick-off.
Well, full credit to the girls. guys. I mean, they could have hung their head, but they haven't, and they've tried for the cheeky kick-off, and they've got it.
And the referee and Touchy gave them a bonus 5 metres here as they pack it 35 out and immediately put a play on for Upton, throwing dummies and left behind by Brown on debut. That was a big chance, but maybe pushing the pass with Brown running out of room. And the Warriors, they have a great group together. They've been singing tunes. They've had Canyon Paul on the guitar, and they look together.
They do. And Lauren Brown puts this down, but she was actually best on ground at the grand final a couple of weeks ago for the Burleigh Bears.
Yeah, she really should have taken that one. It was put on a platter there. It wasn't a bad pass. You could blame that. Just snatched at it.
Great dummy by Tamika Upton. She's looking dangerous already.
Started the year as a sevens player, but things changed, didn't they, for the sevens circuit? No international circuit, no Olympics to look forward to in 2020. So when NRLW came calling, players like Elliot Green were ready for another challenge, and look at that run off the back of the scrum. Showing already what a handful she'll be after a stunning debut from Charlotte Kaslik a little earlier on. Elliot Green might go past her in terms of ratings from their debut performances here, the way she started. Dibbs past to Smith. No-look pass on to Brown. And now Hardigan up over halfway. We talked about games between these two normally being up the middle. Plenty of adventure at the moment from the Warriors.
They've got some speed out wide.
Well, I reckon they've looked at their side and said, look, let's win the ruck and then try and spread the football as much as we can, because, as you mentioned, they have got speed to burn out there, the Warriors.
And they've opened up the side for a kick across towards Elliot Green here, potentially. Georgia Hale keeps it in the hands. The pass not handy for Dibb, but it went backwards, they said. And now Politi on the outside. Green backing up inside. Couldn't get the arm free. And they'll hand it over. But look at the field position they've given the Broncos. It's not great.
Well, I like it when Politi backs herself too. Just the last tackle. The ball went to ground. They had to clean it up. But then she still made 20 metres down the field.
Toying with the touchline. Knows she can keep it in.
We've seen 3 times already that just her strength, being able, with the ability, she'll back herself to stay in field when there's 2 or 3 people making the tackle on her. She's still got the ability to stay in the field of play.
Penalty earned there by Jamie Frassard, who's been waiting a long time to taste action in this competition.
She has. Jamie was actually all set to start with the Broncos in the inaugural season in 2018, and in her last club game, blew out a knee. So very much looking forward to her debut.
Second phase footy here. Upton again backing up. She's looking dangerous, and she was caught high here. So back-to-back penalties for the Broncos. The Warriors turned back-to-back penalties into points earlier on.
Well, the good players want to get their hands on the ball. And Upton, her involvement so far has been outstanding. There's a little bit of a high tackle around the neck. They get the game going again.
Didn't bother with a touch finder there, Tasha.
No, they've gone straight up with it. And I'll tell you what, we talk about outside with the Warriors, but up the middle they're strong too, and they're showing that.
Oh, good hands from Racine McGregor. No knock on. And Amber Hall is a wrecking ball on that right-hand side. Broncos knocking on the door of their first points. Brigginshaw could have pushed the pass, but held on that time. Only halfway through the tackle count here. Inside the red zone.
She does that early.
Upton chimes into the back line again. Elliot Green finished her off. And now Racine McGregor from dummy half. Look at that contact defending their own line from the Warriors. Amber Hall will take some stopping though. And they shove her back into the field of play. That is some defensive stand.
Brad Donald certainly has those Warriors working together as a team in just a week together. It's amazing.
Well, just went in to help their teammate out there too. It looked like Amber Hall was going to go all the way, and all of a sudden they just joined in one group of 3 in the tackle and put her on the ground. So there's the turnover. The Warriors with it all to do now, coming off their own line, but they should bridge up here. Now the Broncos with the speed of their line
Tegan Hartigan gets into dummy half. That's the best go forward on this set. And if you're not up on the details yet, there's a new rule this year in NRLW, a 20-50 kicking rule. So from inside your own 20, get it into the opposition half and get it dead, then you get the ball back. And they must have been thinking about that, but they've lost their kicking weapon from last year.
Shante Poco played for the Warriors last year, arguably the best kicker in the competition, and unfortunately, due to COVID reasons and family reasons, she's unable to join them.
So the pressure on the kicking game of Kira Dibb here from inside the 20, so they've got to field this, don't want it to bounce out, and Brown was well positioned to gather it for the Broncos.
Oh, that's a big win there for the Broncos. They're just kicking off. They're 15 metres out from their own line. They're up over the halfway line now and win a penalty.
It's Maddie Bartlett. She's had a few shoulder injuries.
And the tide is starting to turn a little bit now. After a great start from the Warriors, the Broncos get a chance.
Only 16 shoulder dislocations before the double shoulder Rico a couple of years back, Maddie Bartlett.
And now she's out there. She's fought hard to be there too.
And hopefully the surgeon did the job that prevents any further dislocations. Amber Hall again running on that side against Maddie Bartlett and company. 4 in the tackle, and she kept her feet through it all. Brigginshaw now. And Aiken holds it up for Upton to chime in. Tamika Upton gets the Broncos on the board, and she has looked dangerous from the opening kickoff.
Yeah, she sure has. Ali Brigginshaw said that she's, one of the most great players to watch in a back line. As she comes up here, both times they've fallen for that dummy, spots the gap, agile and through for the try.
And that'll all come on the back of the Broncos' defence when the Warriors couldn't work it up over their 20-metre line. They got a kick away, and then they got the ball back on the halfway line, received a penalty, and Upton again, who loves getting her hands on the footy, backed herself there again, the show and go.
She's looked dangerous a few times, and now it's translated into 4 points.
Saw her come into the competition on a wing, but in the grand final, she played in the fullback role in the number 18 jumper last year. She'll be the number 1 throughout this campaign. She's
already run for 84 metres too, and that's when the Broncos haven't had the bulk of the ball. It's been all the Warriors, so what an effort.
Proving to be quite a game, and that's a Broncos. Broncos keep their spine. So they've got, Upton with Racine McGregor and Ali Brigginshaw, and then Lavina Gould at the number 9. It's that spine that they try to keep unchanged, and yep.
And it was all on the back of an Amber Hall run, who's run the ball so powerfully. When she has got the opportunity to run the football, the quick play the balls, Broncos are in.
Meg Ward, who kicked 5 goals in the grand final, is on target early here, and conversions could be key in this game. It's back to a 2-point ball game. Don't forget, we've got a double-header coming up tonight in the NRL, as well as the finals continue after a quite brilliant game last night between the Panthers and the Roosters. At this venue, it'll be the Canberra Raiders with Tasman Gray's big brother, Jordan Rapana, in action against the Cronulla Sharks. And then after that, it's the Melbourne Storm as a home team taking on the Parramatta Eels. All coming your way tonight. Tamika Upton with her 2nd try in NRLW. Awkward bouncing ball, but no harm for Taryn Aiken. And Millie Boyle, whose discipline was poor early on.
She's keen to make up
back,
that.
yeah. Robinson going crossfield and straight through. Julia Robinson, a regular try scorer in NRLW, and Elliot Green flew back. Did well to hold on to the footy, really, after being crept up on like that. She flying cover that time, Elliot Green.
She got poleaxed. Straight to her feet, but
straight up, play the ball. Gotta love it.
Finding some gaps in this Warriors defensive line, aren't they, the Broncos, though? Now Lenarduzzi, late offload for Boyle. The front rowers combine. Tamika Upton is a superstar of this competition. She scores 2 tries in 3 minutes, and the Broncos are in front.
Okay, this is where it comes from. This break here, they are finding the holes in the Warriors, but Tamika Upton, I tell you what, if she's got the ball in the hand, your heart just stops. It comes from this offload here from Chelsea, Lenadusi out, and the step off the left foot under the post.
Yeah, that's as good a ball playing as you'll see. Both forwards able to offload the ball. Millie Boyle just goes to the line, before the line, straight away, draws some passes. And Upton again on the spot, goes in for her second. Back-to-back tries to herself.
That's smart play by both the Broncos props there. One goes in, draws a defence, offloads them. Millie Boyle, as you said, blocker, goes right to the line to give it to Tamika. Yeah, with the offload, right to the line, step off.
Well, that's as good as you'll see that pass there from Millie Boyle. Soft hands to a person who's hitting the ball at pretty good speed there in Upton. So they've got themselves right back in now, the Broncos, after a poor start.
They all know she's going to be there. Tamika Upton is backing up on every play like all good fullbacks, isn't she?
She sure is.
So the RAF firefighter, Meg Ward, with a straightforward look. And out of nowhere, the Broncos lead by 4, 12 points to 8.
Well, we were saying before the game, it was all important that the Broncos will be starting to become the 100. The game's settled down a little bit now. There's the offload. Here, that's soft hands, beautiful stuff. You've got to have those sort of soft hands when a player's hitting the ball at that sort of speed. No good trying to throw it through them. Beautifully timed there from Millie Boyle. And Upton will be buying what do they have after a game? A cocktail or something? Or
Nice tall beer, probably.
Good.
And this mid-afternoon sun in Canberra has a bit of sting in it here. And the Broncos will be favoured by that, the warmer conditions, you'd think, against these Warriors. And they nearly got the ball back there after the kickoff, but look who tracked it down in time. Tamika Upton. What a start to the game. Front rowers combining to set up that try a moment ago. Good strong defence, but they left the ball carrier alone up top, and the offload came for Brigginshaw. Plenty going on in the ruck. Tegan Hardigan nearly copped a stray boot there as the Broncos push on through Annette Brander, called upon by the coach, Kelvin Wright. Keep the momentum going, but she's made the mistake in the play the ball, and the Warriors needed that the way things were unfolding.
They're just trying to fight to get to her feet as quick as she could there. It's a little bit of tangled around, and one player had their hand on the ball. Goes their way that time to the Warriors.
Like you said, Brenton, that's just what the Warriors needed, like a little bit of a breather, stop the Broncos' momentum. Let's see what they can do from here with the choice of centrefield scrum.
Still perfect in terms of completions, as you saw. And they back off on Politi, almost corralling her towards that sideline, but she stays in again. Didn't even look like going into touch despite the proximity.
Who does step towards the sideline?
Elliot Green gets away from that sideline and gets monstered. Amber Hall over the top. Now the Warriors inside the red zone. Both of their tries went unconverted. And the Broncos respond with 2 converted tries to make it a 4-point margin. Now Smith holds it up, and a little out of sync there. No one running off the right shoulder as Tasman Gray ran decoy. So back to the left they go. Fresh legs out there as well. Taimane Levu, and the mistake comes from the Warriors interchange forward on that occasion.
Well, there's some good solid tackling there from the Broncos. 2 and 3 in the tackle. Just the impact as she's going down near the ground here. Ball spews out the back. That's just good solid defence. She just couldn't control on the way down. Broncos hang on.
And look at this decision. We see a lot of centrefield scrums, Tasha, but not here from the Broncos.
I suspect they've got something cooking here.
You reckon they might shift right here?
And they're calling for more players to come across and reshuffle that pack. Amber Hall's coming out to run on that right edge potentially, so she doesn't have to pack into the scrum. And she is used as the ball runner. She wasn't quite on the same page, but the rest of her teammates knew that she was required to come off the long run. Now the shift for Frassard, and brilliant tackle from Politi, but they get away with it there. The ball went backwards, and Frassard was able to tidy up, and she clutches a knee after that. Let's hope no damage done.
Wait. Go 3.
Gould to Millie Boyle, familiar with these parts. Brother Morgan Boyle of Manly, and her dad was a Canberra Raider. Strong run by Annette Brander, who was a starter in last year's grand final, coming off the bench today. Brigginshaw gives it some hang time. Inverse torpedo, bouncing ball. Karina Brown judged it well enough in the end.
She's a safe set of hands, Karina Brown, and doesn't matter how big they are running at her, she'll take them on.
It looked like a little bit of indecision at the back there. It was a bit of a floating one for her. Changed her mind, let it bounce, but cleaned up at the back from the Warriors. A little bit bunched at the moment, the Warriors.
Tanyan Paul, and work back towards Hartigan, who played it. Now Smith could have gone to the winger, but left Hilda Peters out there to lend a hand at the end of it all and keep her in the field of play. There's Tasman Gray again. Both her and Jordan Rapana became the first brothers and sisters to play on grand final day last year, and again they're at the same venue on the same day in October. Great kick from Kira Dibb, turning the Broncos around. We talked about the fact they lost a bit in the kicking game with no Polko anymore, but maybe not.
No, Brett Donald, wise man, knowing what Kira Dibb can bring, especially with the boot.
Frassard, Boston, where's the support? Jamie Frassard turns the fullback inside out. Great run.
We were worried about her knee a second ago. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And every time they've made some sort of long-range break, the Broncos have been able to come away with points. This will help the Warriors.
Is that Georgia Hale?
I think it is. HIA concern potentially for the Warriors. No, Georgia Hale's up. So, and the thumbs up as well. So just a stoppage in play here after what went on in this tackle situation. Karina Brown it is, who copped the forearm when she was on the ground nearly, did she? Yeah, ran into that elbow from Millie Boyle on the way down.
She's good, Boyle. She picks her opposition out and says, well, you're going to have to tackle me here. Here's the kick just over the 40-metre line. It was a pearl up the chase. Wasn't as good as what we would think.
Tackle 3.
Great chase led by Politi on that kick a moment ago. Karina Brown back into position. No significant damage done.
She's tough.
Midway through the count here. Amber Hall again running over the top of them. Thought about the late offload, told to hold on. And still going.
I reckon the message will go out at half-time. They'll talk about putting her on the ground.
Forward pass maybe from McGregor, but it's alive and eventually knocked on by the Broncos. That initial pass that looked suspect was let go, but the mistake did come.
On the 10 or the 20? 20. Shot clock on.
Yeah, not a bad play, really, when you look up at just a little under 3 minutes to go before half-time, just trying to do something that's be a little bit of a miracle if it comes off.
You good? All right, let's go. Shot clock off.
No centre scrum.
Ball in. Ball in. Out.
Ball goes to Elliot Green, trying to bust them right up the middle.
Keep coming, girls. Keep coming. Keep coming.
She's another one. If you're going to tackle me, you've got to be willing to put your body in front.
Backwards. Keep going.
Got away with it there. Oh, and then stripped out of there. Was there one in the tackle? Referee giving it the all clear for now, and the Broncos might have come up with it. They have. Boyle scrapped for it and chased down the loose ball. Final couple of minutes of the first half, and the Broncos hunting more points here.
Don't hold her. Go 2.
Gould goes to Boyle from a standing start.
Takes 4 to bring her down.
Gould to Brigginshaw. Important knockdown, even though they give up another set. Without that touch from Matty Bartlett, I reckon the Broncos score.
They had to get the ball on the outside there, on that right-hand side. We have a look, as you mentioned. There was 4 on the tackle. They need to spread the footy wide as they could because they had the numbers.
Yeah, it's smart play by Matty Bartlett. Saw that and just had to stick her hand out and stop that.
Got to hang on here, the Warriors.
Centrefield scrum, 8 out. Here they come, left-hand side again. Upton is too hot to handle. A first-up hat-trick in the first half from Tamika Upton. This is some performance.
Tamika Upton rewriting all the history books. I tell you what, if you're a Warrior and she's got the ball, like I said before, but you throw everything at her to try and stop her. She's just elusive. She can step off both feet there.
And she gets in the stride really quickly too. Big, tall. She gets the ball down. There's no way that that's bobbled.
Well, it threatened to, didn't it? But she trapped it back to her chest.
Tamika Upton remains in possession of the football and grounds the ball in the in goal. We have a decision.
She might have been watching last night's game. Nathan Cleary scored a hat-trick in the first half.
Only 30-minute halves here. And Tamika Upton has done it very quickly indeed.
Just the angle she comes from behind. It's very hard to spot her. The defensive line in two minds of who to go in for. There's a second man play. The show and go again. Gets in between players. She's very elusive, as you mentioned, Tasha.
And she comes at such pace. Like, she gets that pace so very, very quickly.
So those 3 tries have come in the space of 13 minutes. It was 10-0, the Warriors, until the 17th minute try from Tamika Upton. And she has gone bang, bang, bang.
I'll tell you what, Blocker, you were calling for a cocktail or a beer after a second try. What does she get now after a third?
I'm not going there.
Ali Brigginshaw, you reckon she's the best player in the comp. You've been saying that for a while. And she's the one who bigged up Tamika Upton before this game, and rightly so. That's
it. Ali Brigginshaw, I still think she's the best player in the comp, and she's best picker of talent as well.
So Meg Ward, after the siren has sounded, can't add the extras this time. But haven't the Broncos responded strongly? They lead 16-8 at the break.
It was a fast start to the Warriors, but the class of the Broncos was undeniable. Mick Ennis has all the halftime highlights. Up next, you're watching Fox League.